Hey guys, welcome to another day on the shop. Started filming a little bit late, but today I'm working on the Camaro. So, the Camaro has had an exhaust leak, both right at the header, and as you see, like I said, I've started a little bit late filming. That's not how the exhaust leak is, by the way. That's just me taking the header off. I've already undone the bottom section and undone everything but one bolt on the block, but like I was showing you, right here you got exhaust leak, back here exhaust leak. All this paint's kind of in my way for what I'm about to do. And these bolts were kind of loose, so I've got this one bolt hanging on right now, which it's spinning good, might just pop off. Got the exhaust undone down there, which was a pain. Gotta clean up some of the bolts. It's just 3 of them, but that one's pretty nasty, and just getting rust on them and stuff. So we'll clean those up. But I've got a hole in my header as well, and I'll show you that once I get this thing off. So let me finish getting this off. Alright, so I'm going to pop all these spark plugs off real quick before I nail that one and bust it off. And then I'm going to have to see if I can get this through the gap that's right there. But I need to check all these anyways, because I do have a misfire still. And yeah, a little update though. New fuel pump. My other one started to leak. I'll show you all that in a minute. Different carb. It is a 650 as well, but it came from a Mustang, a 66 Mustang. Threw it right on. Works perfect. I don't know. Might have a little bit more lack of power from swapping, but it's working so much better than the other one just at idle alone. This car has a nice chop when it's running right. But once you get on the throttle and everything, you start having a misfire. So, pop this off, fix this header, put it all back together, and hopefully by then I'll get some new plugs, which will probably be in a day or two. I'll go to the parts store, grab some new plugs, because I think these are just break-in plugs. So, go ahead and buy some more. Driver's side I'll just have to pull out and look at. But I'm going to label each one of these, take a look at them, and see what's going on with each cylinder. So let's pop these off and go to the next thing. Alright, got the header out. I had to take the starter down, and yeah, that wasn't fun. Got an oil leak everywhere, so my plan is next to use some Super Clean. Got some Super Clean aerosol. I'm going to spray on the side there. I do have this in most of my giveaways, so if you check out Instagram, hit up one of those giveaways and you'll have a chance to win a bottle of this. So I'm going to spray this down, let it sit, scrub it a little bit, and then wash it off. Hopefully I can get a lot of that stuff off. All you do is you just spray it on, let it soak for a little bit. It gets the grime and build up off of it. I missed a little bit of trans. So it's good for any engine or anything like that. So we're gonna let that sit for a minute. We're gonna work on this header. So this header, as you see, it has exhaust leak up here, which I'm gonna take probably a wire wheel and just clean up that a little bit. But I've got a hole down here. So this hole, I'm gonna need a small piece of metal and probably just tack it on and just throw a bunch of small tacks around it and build it up to where it doesn't leak anymore. Also, on here, you can see a little residue. So I'm going to clean that up, and I'm going to use some copper gasket. Ultra copper. Love this stuff. So I'm going to use some of that as this gasket. Hopefully it'll end my exhaust leaks for what I have going on. So, yep. I'll let this super clean sit for a minute, and then I'm going to wipe it off and have a brand new looking yellow small block Chevy. So, let's get to it. Okay, so that's wiped down a lot cleaner. I didn't spray it off or anything. We still got random things back here growing from it sitting in a field. I need to take all this wire and harness off and clean it up one day and rewrap it. I'm gonna make it a lot cleaner looking than it is, and probably clean up that starter and make it shiny. But I wire wheeled everything, as you saw. Wire wheeled all this. Wire wheeled this. I'm going to clean it up just a little bit more. Wire wheeled this, so once it comes in contact with the ultra copper, it will seal on the other part. I'll have to clean at the other end as well, just to make sure it's clean and not full of rust and debris. So I'm going to wipe all the surfaces down with brake cleaner before I apply it, so that there's no grease or anything else, and it applies very well and bonds very well. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit more, and then I'm going to get the welder out and weld me a little patch piece. Alright, this is a ghetto fix, but I like it, enjoy it. I'm just using some expanded metal, a couple of pieces lapped on top of each other. I'm going to melt it all in all around the edges, because I don't have a piece of flat stock or anything that fits this. So I'm just going to tack weld it in and hit all the spots I can where there's holes, and then come around the edge and do it again. Alright, so this isn't too pretty, but it's patched up. There's no light coming through it. Hopefully there's no pressure that blows it out, because it is free flowing. And yeah, it just stopped up that big old hole that was there. So my beautiful, horrible welds should withstand everything. I'm going to put some really high heat paint on the back of this, and it should work. Alright, so I threw some paint on there, letting it dry. Found the culprit. I have crud in between my spark plug, and I think that is my misfire. It's grounded out. So we're going to gap this the correct way, and hopefully we're going to move it. This was actually number 8 back there. We're going to move it to number 2. Or is that number 1 and number 7? Can't remember. It's on a side and it's in a position. So we're going to move it. So we're going to gap this real quick and make sure it's the right one, right gap, and put it back in. Alright, so gap the plug. I was using this earlier, shining up this, it looks pretty. Gap the plug, waiting on this to dry. Once this dries, and I'm going to put a coat of clear enamel on it, which is 4 headers. So we're going to do that. And then we are going to use the ultra copper on the exhaust everywhere. So same thing I did with the 240, and it works phenomenal. I like it. I enjoy it more than gaskets. So much better. So the next thing you're going to see is this header being put back in. So alright, so we got this paint dried. We just sprayed it with the extra high temp clear, so it's dry from that. And now we're going to start cleaning all this mess up and getting that back in here. I think I showed the fact of one of these plugs was grounded out, so I cleaned it up and re-gapped it. So the gap for a small block Chevy is between a .020 and .040 gap. So we're going with whatever's between there. I'm not looking for perfection. It's just a stock-ish small block. So I'm going to clean some of these bolts up, make them look a little bit prettier, because that's what I like to do. I've already cleaned all this up. I'm going to clean up one more time with some brake cleaner, just to make sure this copper gasket seals good. And I'm going to pop that exhaust off in the back to see if anything's clogged or anything else, because it kind of sounded weird from before, and as much water and dirt and everything else has been through this car for sitting in the field for so long. We're going to pull it out. I'm going to see if I can wash it out at all. If I can, cool. If it just runs clean, then okay, we'll put it back in. The driver's side, I need to do the same thing. I don't have any leaks that I know of on the driver's side. It's just dirty. I'm getting a lot of oil residue from everything. So, but that's just old school. So, yeah, I need to check the plugs on the driver's side as well, just to make sure that I don't have any issues. So when it comes to misfiring, I can't blame it on the plugs, hopefully. And so yeah, we're going to get into this and get this manifold back in and go from there. Okay, so I've got the header up here, got the spark plugs in. Now I'm going to put a little bit of exhaust maker or copper sealant on here, and it should seal this up pretty well. So let's do that. Alright, everything's in. I painted these bolts with some high temp black. I didn't really touch the header because I'm contemplating on buying some new ones. I need to clean these up again because I got oil on them. I did a little zip tie holder up here and down here. It looks pretty good. If you've never seen how it works, it's pretty simple. You put one around all four of them, and then you put a zip tie individually between each one, and then you just secure them down, and it doesn't go anywhere, they don't go anywhere. It looks pretty decent. So you could still go and do two if you want and peer them off, make them all fancy. Up here it's just a jumbled mess because that's how it's got to be. Alright, so top end's done. Bottom end includes the starter down there and the other part to the exhaust. Blew some air through the exhaust, looked at it, got a light in there. It doesn't seem like anything's really blocking it up. The patchwork should work with all this. As of did the gaskets. Alright, so we just got to wait on this this gasket to seal itself. I need to redo this ground. I need to put it back here somehow. I don't really like it back here. There might be another bolt. There's another bolt hole. I'm going to stick a bolt back here and deal with this so it's not hanging off here. It's hanging off back here. A little shorter distance too. On top of that, let's see. Like I said, I got the other exhaust and the starter. So that's what I'm going to do. Alright, we're down here and we're going to put the starter back in. So, if I can lift it back up. Alright, so we got that side done, the exhaust done. going to work on prettying this up, and I'm going to check all these plugs real quick. I'm going to show you how to do zip tie spark plug wire holders. So, hold on. Okay, so we have 4 wires here. I want them to go in order. So, we're going to pull that one, pull this one, get as much slack out of these as we can. Alright, and I'm going to wrap one zip tie all the way around. I'm going to turn it over. I want the aesthetic look of a band. So, I'm going to start out like that. So we got that. One. Next thing we're going to do is put them in order how I want. Got one, number 1. That's number 2. Here's number 1. So we're going to go through there individually and zip tie number 1. Leave it loose, it just separates it. And then we're going to do 2. And then once we do 2, then we do 3 and 4. So I just make sure I do it all the same way. So when I flip it over, you don't see the heads of these, and they're all in order the way I want. So let's do 3. These are cheaper than buying a set of spark plug wire holders. Alright, now that we got all those done, I'm going to slowly start moving these around. Make sure this main one isn't tied down too tight at first. And get it where you want it. Get them all where you want them. You can get all the zipper parts on the bottom. Alright, well, that's basically it. Then I'll snip all these ends. I'm going to do it one more time to these 3 wires to get them out of the way and make it to where this one sits on its own, but these 3 don't touch anything. So that's what I'm going to do next. Alright, so these plugs don't look too bad. I'm going to clean them up before I put them back in, but yeah, that's a pain in the butt. I don't like Chevys or Fords when it comes to small blocks and putting in or taking out plugs. It's not fun. Got a little bit of oil, got a little bit of gas. Need to do an oil change on her. But plugs look pretty good. The gap looks consistent with all the other ones. So, yeah, I'm going to put this back in and go from there. Alright, did some aesthetics. Now I'm gonna start this thing. And then, actually, let's go ahead and cut these bolts off that are sticking up, and then I'll put my back seat in that's up there so it's off the shelf. That was what my original plan was, to do something about that. So I'm gonna do that real quick. I'm just gonna cut them off and kind of round them off a little bit, and that'll be done with that. So hold. Alright, getting the back seats out. Everything else in there is clean and done. These things are dirty. Look at that. Lots of dust. After a little bit of 409, cleaned it up, wiped it down. It could do better, but for the time being, I might get my little scrubber brush out. Hold on, let's see. My little detail brush. This little thing, it's got a whole bunch of different brushes in it. So I might get it out and go along the edges real quick, squirt it down a little bit with some more interior cleaner, and make it work, because that is disgusting and I don't want to have to deal with this over and over and over again. So get this little thing out and hit it up all along the edges and all that. so I can really get in there. That's what I'm gonna do. All right, so you saw me do the lower back seat. Here it is. They're both pretty and clean. Here's the upper back seat. So we're gonna get it matching those two, just like that. So like I said, just spray a little, let it sit in, get all that dust and grime, and then once that sits, get the drill, magic brush, and start. And once we do that, it should come out clean. We'll look at this area real quick. It's getting there. Look at that. Even the stains and inside all the little grooves too. So I'm gonna work on this and knock this one out. All right. Now I've handled the top back seat, which goes in first. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in, and then the lower seats in. I vacuumed the back, it's ready to go. So I'm going to get these two things in, and then I'll get more stuff off my shelf, make that feel more complete, probably quiet it down just a little bit on the inside. If there's any metal to metal noise up under the car, hopefully it kind of drowns it out, which the only thing it would be the muffler. So I'm gonna pop all this back in real quick. All right, seat belts, carpet, back seat is in. Looks good from down here, looks good from up here. Actually, I might have to raise this side, it looks like. Huh. Let me check that side real quick. Just because there might be a hook I missed. It may not. That might be just a little hair back. So let's see. No, it's in there. It's just that other piece is just a hair back. So I need to cut a better piece of wood back there. Especially I want to put some speakers back here. So, yep, there's that. Now we can crank this thing up and see how it runs without having the mishap it was having. Just getting this dirty front seat. Still had to clean the front seats. Haven't cleaned them up. Got to fix this seat belt. I'm unsafe. All right. Oh wait, the battery's not hooked up. All right, now the battery's hooked up. Like I said, I need to wipe all this dust out of here and polish this up a little bit. Get me a door panel, clean this up, fix these. Yep, I got a lot of interior work to do. Let's do this. Sounds good. All right, so we did some work. Lots of work, actually. I've got to adjust my valve rockers. So they're tapping pretty hard, but the exhaust fix I did, it works. No leaks. It's running kind of high as idle. I don't know why. I can't adjust it any further down, and these springs just aren't cutting it. So I got to figure out why this won't go a little bit further down to let off that, because this is loose. These are all the way tensioned back. This is loose, and I can't loosen it anymore without it just falling out. So we're idling kind of high. Other than that, this thing hits pretty good. And everything looks good and everything sounds good. So thank you for joining me on another day on the shop. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to tell me that would probably be a better idea? Hit me up in the comments. Check out Instagram. Make sure you get into the giveaways. Every 100 subscribers has a giveaway. So right now we're working on one with some benchmark abrasive stuff. Next one, I don't know. It's going to be a decent sized one because it's going to be a little bit bigger. We're going to hit 1,000 mark. So yeah, that's it. So, till next time.